Hello and thank you for watching. This is STSC back again with LEGO Transformers Predaking Part 3, Divebomb. Divebomb was the final Limbot I built and presented an interesting challenge. I wanted his arm mode to be mostly symmetrical to Rampage, which meant turning a cat transformer into a bird transformer. Ultimately, it ended up actually not being that difficult because of the wing pack. If you're not familiar with Predaking, Divebomb's wings come off when he combines and end up pegging onto the back of the combiner. That actually made it a lot simpler, since really the cat transformer just had to fold up into a convincing enough block shaped like a bird, and then the wings could just go on the back. And this is the resulting bird mode. Unexpectedly, I actually like it a lot more than Rampage's Tiger mode. I don't know what it is about it, I just think it fixes a lot of the issues I had with this design when it was trying to be a cat, and I just think this looks honestly pretty good. Yes, it is effectively just a robot folded into a block with some wings on top of it, but I don't really think it looks that bad. I think there is a decent amount of definition to the bird mode. Focusing in on the back, I did give the bird mode some thruster detail. There's two on the wing pack in these little cone shapes, and there's a pair of dual thruster pods down by the tail feather. Speaking of the tail feather, this mode actually uses it as kind of like a tripod. Those little feet up front are pretty tiny and would have a hard time supporting all the weight, so a lot of it is loaded on the tail feather here, which helps make it stand a lot easier. For articulation, Divebomb's bird head can look left and right as well as down. The neck is also on a ball joint, which allows for a little bit of range. The bird legs are on ball joints, but the thruster pods here actually move with them, so I don't really use that articulation at all. Then the talons down here are able to rotate and pivot. The wings have a basic hinge where they connect to the torso, and then a ball joint in the middle, and then each feather is on a hinge. For a size comparison, here we have a minifigure. And here we have Rampage, who seems pretty tiny compared to the bird. That's all there is to say about Divebomb in his bird mode, so now it's time to transform. And here we have Divebomb in his robot mode. Just like the beast mode, I think this is an improvement on Rampage. Since the bird head turns into his robot head, he avoids the proportional issues that Rampage had, and in general, I just think he looks a lot cooler. I have the wings folded away now, but of course they can unfurl to look a little bit more impressive. I mentioned that the bird head becomes the robot mode head, but I actually changed how that worked for this design. Usually his head is actually in the mouth of the bird, kinda like Voltron, but with the bird instead of a lion. But for this, I actually made the head face backwards on his forehead, almost like some kind of weird pointed cap. Honestly, I think it looks pretty cool, but it might be an acquired taste. If you find the pointed beak head particularly offensive, it could always be swung down to kind of be maybe some kind of robot ponytail, but I don't know, I just don't like how that looks as much. In this mode, the wings add a lot of weight to the robot and make him pretty back-heavy, which is why I added these thruster pods, since in this mode they swing back to form extended heels. But of course, for the combination, the wings can be removed, so if you want a cleaner robot, which is easier to stand, you could always do that, but it does make him look a little bit naked. The wings can also be placed on Rampage, however he lacks the extended heels to assist when standing while wearing them. For articulation, Divebomb's head is on a ball joint, which can allow it to tilt, bobble, rotate, and look up and down. Beyond that, it's pretty much the same articulation as Rampage. Forward and backward at the shoulder, in and out, bend at the elbow, wrist swivel, mixel ball waist joint, mixel ball hips and knees, as well as a ankle pivot in both directions, and the wings work the same as in bird mode. For accessories, I've given Divebomb a silenced rifle, which can simply clip into his hand. For a size comparison, here we have a minifigure. And here we have Rampage. In this mode, it's a little bit more obvious that Divebomb is based off him. Divebomb might be my favorite of the limb mode Predacons. I think he's just the most well-rounded transformer of the bunch. While his robot mode might not be as characterful as the legs, he's just a better all-around transformer. And he does all of it while turning into a pretty solid arm. But that comes later.